like it's happening in East Pittsburgh, which dissolved its police force last December. The department came under criticism after last year's shooting of Antoine Rose. But Action News Investigates found response time dropped significantly when state police took over in December. With state troopers stretched thin, an expert tells me this has implications not just for East Pittsburgh, but for all of us. Action News Investigates was there when state police made a routine traffic stop in East Pittsburgh. Before December, this would not have been routine because back then, East Pittsburgh had its own police force. At a borough council meeting last month, most residents and officials praised the new arrangement with state police.
It's been great.
I feel pretty good about you being here. But very good. You can stay as long as you want, as far as I'm concerned.
But 911 records obtained by Action News Investigates show another side. The records detail police response in East Pittsburgh before and after state police took over. Records show the average response time in November, when East Pittsburgh had its own police force, was 8 minutes 42 seconds. In December, after state police took over, the average response time rose to 11 minutes 16 seconds, a nearly 30% increase. A state police spokesperson told Action News Investigates they were unaware of the response time numbers until we told them.
There's troopers assigned to that area, so there should be a trooper that responds in a reasonable time, again, depending on what's happening at that moment.
She says troopers in the area could be called to neighboring communities or an accident on the Parkway East. They could be, in Monroeville, say, right? Or they could be downtown?
They could be.
And that's obviously going to make a difference in terms of the response.
It could.
East Pittsburgh Mayor Louis Payne refused our request for an interview, but he did tell me by phone that he's had no complaints about state police and he has no concerns about the slower response. But some employees at Gumpher Incorporated in East Pittsburgh, which uses video surveillance and dogs to ward off intruders, were alarmed by the response time.
That is a concern. When an emergency does happen, you expect to have it in a timely manner. Every minute counts.
Vernetta Garrick of East Pittsburgh says she is overall pleased with state police. Still,
3 minutes can make the difference between life and death. There's no question about that.
As important as response time is to East Pittsburgh, an expert tells me the state police presence there could impact all of us. That's because state police are already stretched thin, and if troopers are busy fighting crime there, they may not be able to respond as quickly to an accident or a road rage incident here on the Parkway East. David Harris is a Pitt law professor and a policing expert.
If they're being called on to police a place like East Pittsburgh and 100 or 1,000 other places like it, they're stretched thinner and thinner.
State police already patrol about 1,300 municipalities in Pennsylvania. That includes a dozen communities added the year before East Pittsburgh.
Constantly relying more and more and more on the state police without greater funding for them is not a recipe for a long-term solution.
Governor Wolf wants communities using state police to pay a fee. Any concern about a reduction in response time if the state police are stretched too thin?
Sure. I mean, absolutely. There is no such thing as a free lunch. And something has got to give if you keep taking more and more.
For now, state troopers will continue patrolling East Pittsburgh at no cost to the borough. While residents appreciate the help, some hope for a faster response.
For people to stay safe, I believe the response time needs to be quick.
According to policing expert David Harris, the good news here for East Pittsburgh is they now have a highly regarded police agency as opposed to a local force that was criticized by the district attorney for its lack of professionalism. East Pittsburgh officials are talking to their neighbors about creating a regional police force, and Harris tells me that is the answer for many smaller and poorer communities that cannot afford their own department.